Most people carry a silent sentence in their chest. I'm behind. Behind in money. Behind in career. Behind in knowledge. Behind in confidence. Behind in life. And every day, that sentence whispers while they scroll through other people's success, other people's milestones, other people's victories. Slowly, they start believing that they missed the train, that their story is already decided, that it's too late. But here is the truth nobody tells you. Feeling behind is not a position, it is a perception. And perception can be rewritten. Billionaires understand something most people never learn. Progress is not about speed. It is about direction. You can be moving slowly in the right direction and still win. You can be running fast in the wrong direction and still lose. The crowd compares distance. Builders compare trajectory. This video is for the person who feels late, the person who feels smaller, the person who feels like others are ahead. Not because you lack potential, but because your internal rules were never installed. Because being behind is not solved by motivation. It is solved by systems. The first rule for people who feel behind is shrinking the time horizon. Ordinary people look at years ahead and feel overwhelmed. Billionaires look at today's next move only. They break destiny into small, repeatable steps. When you focus on the next action, not the final outcome, momentum becomes easy. And momentum kills the feeling of being behind. The second rule is replacing comparison with construction. Ordinary people compare their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Billionaires compare only against their own yesterday. Construction replaces comparison. Building replaces envy. When you measure only your own growth, confidence returns naturally. The third rule is choosing consistency over intensity. Ordinary people make big promises and quit. Billionaires make small actions and repeat them. Consistency beats talent. Consistency beats motivation. Consistency beats confidence. Because confidence is born from kept promises to yourself. The fourth rule is installing default progress. Ordinary people rely on willpower. Billionaires rely on automation. Automatic saving. Automatic learning time. Automatic outreach. Automatic creation. When progress becomes default, lack of confidence no longer matters. The fifth rule is learning in private. Ordinary people avoid starting because they fear looking foolish. Billionaires learn quietly. They read, they test. They practice where nobody watches. When they appear in public, they are already prepared. Confidence is built in private. The sixth rule is identity-first design. Ordinary people wait for confidence to act. Billionaires act to build confidence. They adopt the identity of a builder before proof arrives. Once identity shifts, behavior follows. Once behavior follows, results appear. Once results appear, confidence locks in. At this point, something important should feel lighter. Feeling behind is not your fate. It is simply old rules running in the background. Change the rules. The experience changes, but we've only reached the surface. Because the deeper transformation is not about actions. It is about rebuilding the inner identity that never again feels behind. And that is where everything truly separates. We've only reached the outer walls of the rulebook. In the next part, we enter the inner chamber, where identity, risk, and legacy are decided. And that's where real wealth becomes inevitable. Most people who feel behind are not actually behind in reality. They are behind in identity. Their external life is only reflecting an internal story that has not been rewritten yet. They look at others and say, they are ahead of me. But what they really mean is, they started believing in themselves earlier than I did. The moment you understand this, your past stops being a prison and becomes a starting line. Billionaires know that time is not the enemy. The real enemy is hesitation. Many people waste years waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel confident, waiting to feel certain. But confidence is not the entry ticket. Confidence is the receipt you get after action. You don't build belief and then act. You act and belief catches up. This is the next rule for those who feel behind. Act before you feel ready. One email, one page written, one call made, one lesson studied, one small investment. Tiny moves that feel almost meaningless. But compounding is never loud in the beginning. It whispers. And those whispers become momentum. Another rule is forgiving your timeline. Many people secretly punish themselves for starting late. They carry shame about lost years, but shame drains energy. Billionaires don't waste energy on regret. They extract lessons, then move forward clean. The past is data, not destiny. When you forgive your timeline, you free energy to build your future. Another rule is choosing depth over speed. Ordinary people rush and burn out. Billionaires go deep and become undeniable. Depth creates mastery. Mastery creates confidence. Confidence creates calm. Calm creates better decisions. Better decisions create inevitable success. Rushing keeps you behind. Depth moves you ahead quietly. Another rule is learning to walk alone at first. Many people feel behind because they wait for encouragement. But early builders rarely receive applause. They receive doubt. They receive silence. Billionaires accept this phase. They build in isolation, and when results appear, applause arrives automatically, not before. No one claps when the seed is in the soil. They clap when the tree appears, but the work was done underground. Another rule is redefining what ahead means. Ordinary people think ahead means richer, louder, more famous. Billionaires think ahead means freer, calmer, more in control. When you redefine success, you stop feeling behind. You start feeling aligned. Another rule is creating proof, not promises. Ordinary people talk about goals. Billionaires build small proofs: a finished project, a saved amount, a completed skill. Proof replaces self-doubt with evidence. Evidence creates confidence that doesn't depend on mood. Another rule is trusting compounding, even when invisible. Many people quit because they see no results. Billionaires stay because they understand invisible growth, just like muscles growing between workouts, just like investments growing between statements, just like skill growing between practice sessions. Invisible growth is still growth. Another rule is letting go of perfection. People who feel behind often delay because they want to start perfectly. Billionaires start messy. They iterate. They improve while moving. Motion corrects mistakes. Stillness multiplies them. And the final rule is the one that closes the loop. Deciding that you are not behind. You are simply beginning. That one identity shift changes how you walk, speak, decide, and act. From that day forward, you no longer chase life. You build it. Now pause and imagine waking up tomorrow without the sentence, "I'm behind." No rush, no comparison, no shame. Only direction, only structure, only construction. Most people will finish this video and return to old self-talk. Few will finish this video and quietly rewrite their inner story. That invisible decision is what separates spectators from builders. You were never behind. You were simply waiting for the rulebook. Now you have it. Welcome to the Builder's Path. Billionaire Rulebook, rules that make wealth inevitable.